MMA has played a critical role in how I think about marketing, how I think about my marketing organization, and how I think about growth. We have worked with many of the leading providers in the world, and there is simply no other organization with more comprehensive and rigorous insight to help you grow a brand.
The thing that makes the MMA relatively unique in the space of different industry groups or industry events is the MMA is doing a lot of research for the industry on some of the toughest challenges that we as marketers face. And that's really what sets it apart, is having that industry knowledge base.
We are all about leveraging science and data and insights to enrich and make our marketers better and better.
We've been lucky in that we've been able to take advantage of the various MMA pilots that are offered up to its members. So we've participated in Brandis Performance, the Movable Middles Framework, CAPI, as well as now Project Romy. So I am very quick to raise my hand anytime I hear about a new opportunity, and I feel like if it's going to advance our knowledge as a media and marketing organization.
Being a member of the MMA, it just gets you a lot of great exposure to companies that are tackling the biggest problems that we have as marketers today.
What makes the MMA unique is that we really, as a group, try to look to the future, look around corners, see what's coming next, and make sure that we're staying at the forefront of how we can continue to evolve and develop marketing into the function that really is the growth lever of the companies that we work for.
The MMA's focus on the CMO and relevance to the CMO is what really sets them apart. Their focus on what are the topics, the challenges, the opportunities to bring that community together and make sure that they're fueled by insights from other industry leaders so they can go make change happen.
If you want to be part of an organization that's truly at the forefront of catalyzing all this change and transformation we know is happening in our industry, MMA is the place to be.
Hello everyone, welcome to another webinar from MMA Academy. Thank you very much for joining us from all the regions. This is our very first across MENA webinar. So today's topic will be on AI adoption study, which we conducted with Kantar. We thank Kantar for their wonderful partnership and collaboration, especially many thanks to our managing director Hande. She's been very busy talking about the level of AI adoption within the region. So thank you very much, Hande. So we will be talking about our recent study, which we conducted with more than 100 CMOs and director and above position leaders who really put effort into this a little bit long survey. And the outcome is really interesting. So I'm handing the mic to Hande right now, and we'll have some Q&A time afterwards. So thank you very much for your time. Grab your coffee and enjoy the webinar. Thank you, Hande.
Hi, everyone. I'm sharing my screen and hopefully everything is intact. Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, Goodies, for your kind words. Today, I will be sharing with you this survey that we have conducted in October last year. And Kantar is collaborating with MMA across many countries, and we were very happy to start that collaboration last year, and hopefully we will continue with different surveys this year as well. And the first topic that we dwelt into was the AI adoption. Of course, the hottest topic now in the world and in our daily lives and in our businesses as well. And we have covered many topics, as Güliz mentioned in that survey. We looked at the awareness levels, adaptation levels, which areas AI is being used across marketing. We looked at the impact and success, whether it is successfully being measured, and how actually the leadership is looking into AI adoption, because leadership, if it's a top-down approach. And okay, there is a certain approach by the leadership. How is the culture of the companies? And if the organizations are ready to embrace AI adoption, and what the concerns are, obstacles are, and how is the information being shared, and whether trainings, upskilling is available in these companies, and what the future plans are. We have talked with 115 respondents, and all of these are marketing specialists. And it is actually a very strong base in terms of, I mean, you're used to consumer bases, of course, with 500, 1,000 consumers being interviewed, but especially in the case of marketing specialists and business people, it's a very strong, robust sample size. And we were able to report across 3 sub-regions: Türkiye on its own, MENA region, and then South Africa. The total response, where you will see total, is a total of all these 3 regions, and in each table you will be seeing all 3 sub-regions, and I will be pointing out where there are differences. Okay, then let's start with the awareness levels. In this point, we asked our respondents how familiar they are with the use of AI in their organization for marketing and customer experience related initiatives. For all of this, scope was actually AI in the area of marketing and customer experience. So I will not repeat this in all of these, but when we are talking about AI awareness here in the company, we are specifically referring to marketing and customer experience. And the respondents, 2 out of 3 respondents that we have interviewed, they were very familiar and involved in AI processes, and 1/3 was somewhat involved and with some familiarity. That's how we continued with the interviews. And on this level, we wanted to find out the company's stage of adoption when it comes to the application of AI. So we looked at 4 different stages: scaling, testing, scoping, and those who haven't started or haven't done anything at all. It's a very low number in the region, only 1%, and that's coming from the MENA region. But other than that, what we see here is the highest percentage lies with 46% in scaling, which means that we are expanding the number of use cases and depth of AI in marketing applications. So AI has moved beyond the testing phase, which we see residing at 40%, and gone to scaling, which is good to see. And there's some 13% here, which is at scoping, where they're researching, considering AI in some marketing use cases. And for that, South MENA region is slightly higher compared to the rest of the region. And then we had a look at, we wanted to observe what the progress was in terms of the strategy. And we have seen that 43% of the companies have stated that they have strong vision and leadership buy-in for the application of AI in marketing. 24% with partial vision, but 43%, it's very similar across MENA, South Africa, and Türkiye, meaning that there is a strong belief in strong vision and leadership buying within the companies. So leaders are also putting in a strategy to really jump on the AI train. So what is our application in terms of which areas? This is the areas that companies have clear, measurable AI goals. So we will later see where these applications are. But at this point, we are looking at where there is some goal setting. And the first area that we see with 63% is automating the marketing processes. So that's the major area, closely followed by 61% with increasing the value of data analytics and producing transformative insights. And thirdly, it comes increasing the media productivity. At fourth level, we see improving operational efficiency and margins. And fifth level, again related with the media productivity, we see improving targeting here. And following that, it comes to topics like increasing agility. Almost 50% are also setting targets on increasing agility and speed to market. And 48% are has put targets to improve customer experience. And 47 in terms of personalizing the customer journey. Then innovation and product development is more or less focus on, and then automating the customer interactions by 37%. And driving the top line growth sits at 30% here. And Turkey has a slightly higher number at 38% by driving top line growth, using it as an AI target here. So when we compare the countries here, we see that South Africa here has like high numbers across majority of the media areas, especially the marketing processes and research, media productivity, and improving targeting. Whereas Turkey ranks higher than the other markets in terms of improving operational efficiency and margins. So where we see is that AI is not only being deployed, but also measurable goals are being set here. And when we're looking at media, advertising, and customer experience, the focus is more on the media and marketing side. And customer experience is also getting some attention here. And especially we know that these areas, new products, new AI solutions are being launched every month almost. So we will see these numbers differ over time, most surely. And then we asked them, which of the areas do you think your company is making progress in terms of AI applications? And parallel to the slide before, we see that 76% are saying advertising, media planning, and marketing. Then at 48%, we see strategy and planning, then operations, then production, then customer experience. Sales only gets 20% attention on advances, and HR at 17 and finance at 14. So the biggest area is advertising, media, and media planning. Of course, companies when they're deploying AI, they are doing it across majority, and these are kind of like the quick win areas that we see, but it's of course coming to all and has come to all of the functions within the companies. So measuring the impact and success of AI, we have asked them where they were putting in targets, and then we asked them, okay, what's your company's ability to measure it actually, and the impact of AI to improve the business results by increasing revenue, productivity, or margins. Again, the area is advertising, media planning, and marketing. 71% in the region. It goes up to 88% for South Africa and lower on MENA region. Then is strategy and planning. Turkey is ranging above compared to the region. Production, 38%, operations 33%, then customer experience at 30%. With the sales, it's interesting. Turkish respondents ranked it lower, where again MENA, even though it ranks almost similar to regions average, this is the one area that it is above the average we see. So finance, then HR is at around 9%. Then this is the area where we asked, how does your company measure AI's impact? And they were asked to select all that apply. So the main approach to AI impact measurement is reduction in time spent in specific labor. So time is the first area. Then the second area is improvement in marketing effectiveness, return on investment, and advertising spending. Thirdly, this area was observation on tracking from manual to automated tasks. So a lot of automation is now being immersed into companies. We see it also across Kantar as well. So each company has its own AI journey, and with mainly majority of the areas where there is this time consuming stuff, those stuff are now being reduced. Those areas, those works is now being reduced by using the AI, and we can see it in Kantar, and I'm sure that you can see in a majority of your companies and across different tasks as well. Reduction of human mistakes, 36%, of course, being these checks being made by AI. Increase in customer satisfaction level, NPS scores. So that's where they're looking at. Increasing incremental revenue attributed to AI. Then 21% is looking at reduction in customer acquisition costs. Then improvement of margins, customer lifetime value. So that's 17%, and increasing in retention rate is 14%. And like the majority of the rest of the survey, a lot of it is some time, and then marketing and return on investment, then the customer experience follows. So we want to look at how leadership, how the organization culture is viewing AI adoption. So when asked to represent the leadership's attitude and readiness towards the application of AI, we see here that 50% says the leadership has AI prioritization, and there is a roadmap there. And in Turkey, this number goes up to 62%. So the leaders in Turkey are prioritizing the AI more than the remaining of MENA and South Africa. 31% is saying, yeah, there's a vision and there's significant investment. And then the rest 17% recognizes the need for readiness, but no significant initiative. MENA ranks slightly higher in this aspect, and hesitancy is only at 2%. Again, the senior leadership, how urgent they feel to adopt it. In Turkey, it's around, and MENA, it's around 60%, and it's in South Africa, it goes up to almost 80%, where the leaders are feeling it is very urgent or extremely urgent to adopt to AI, applications of AI. And that was leadership. So there's a lot of leadership, vision, urgency feeling. So the second aspect that we wanted to look at was, how is the company's culture accepting and knowledgeable towards the adoption of AI? 43% is saying the adoption, knowledge, and acceptation is strong, balanced grasp of AI value and risk. 39% is saying there is good understanding, but more evidence is needed. And 16% says there is some understanding, but clear mistrust. So there's a mistrust of 16%, and only 3% is limited AI understanding and mistrust. So the mistrust is almost similar across the countries, with South Africa having a more trusting approach. Turkey feels, with 54%, has the highest balanced grasp of AI value and risk perception. And MENA says 50% says there's good understanding, but more evidence is needed. And with South Africa, again, the high score is for strong and balanced grasp. So there is a bit of a, in terms of the adoption curve or look approach, MENA is kind of more of a, from Turkey and South Africa are sitting at strong grasp. MENA is sitting at good level. What are the concerns, obstacles, and information? How is the information being shared? Here it was important for us to look at the employees' concerns regarding the AI applications. The first area was that were recited by respondents as concern was the need for additional training to upskill and reskill employees. So that ranks as number one. 2/3 feel it's very, very necessary. And I must touch upon the fact that MMA at this point has very strong training material and has AI in its focus to train the companies in this area. So they can give much more and detailed information on this. And please look into the website. There's a lot of information there as well. This is an area that employees feel necessary because training can be done top down. The company can provide the trainings for you, and then or if the trainings are there, or really complement these with the available trainings in the market. Second area of concerns was with issues with regulatory compliance that came up as 40% and higher in Türkiye and lower in MENA region. Of course, the biggest question in the minds we would feel would be, I would expect it to be higher, but training came to be at 65, where the concern that some roles will become obsolete. Will we lose our jobs? So that was 36%, and almost similar levels with across the region. And then there is the overall uncertainty and unpredictability by 33%. And you see here that Türkiye is lying significantly higher. This was, of course, we must say the timing was pre-war period. So at that time, it was all good under MENA. South Africa is nothing going on there. MENA was also very calm and quiet. In terms of Türkiye, of course, our uncertainty level in everyday life is so high that when employees looking at it through AI in this perspective, they ranked it as a feeling, creating another level of uncertainty and unpredictability that was much higher than the region as a whole. Lack of transparency and difficulty to explain the impact of AI, that sits at 31%. High cost of implementation and not proven business case, that is sitting at 20%, and Turkey slightly higher, MENA being much lower. Biases that create issues with equity and representation, that sits at 18% in the region and has the highest value of 29% at South Africa. Regarding the training skills and future plans, we asked here what the marketing organization's training looked like. And 45% is training exists, but it's not customized to each capability. And that went up to 48% at MENA. 1/4 said there is limited training that is existing for marketers to understand the AI implications. South Africa, this number was much higher. 16% says no training being developed. And that's like 1 out of every 5 companies in Turkey. So in Turkey, there needs to be even a beginning level of training there. Only 14% says we have a fully developed, aligned with corporate strategy, including the relevant AI skills. So you see that almost 85% needs education, training, and some exist, but some feel it's very limited. A lot of training is necessary. Of course, this is natural and this is very normal because this has been happening only in the last 2 years and has taken an unprecedented speed in only the last 1 year, we must say, and it is going faster every month. So from my perspective, even the trainings I get always makes me feel that there's so much going on over there, and I am not really fully leveraging it. There's more training that I can get. And even though Kantar provides a lot of training, internal training in this perspective, it's very difficult. Feels also you feel the lack of, there's a FOMO feeling going on here. There's a lot going on. Do I know enough within the world of AI? But there is a lot of stuff there available, so let's make most use of it. And this is the AI talent. Of course, how will the organizations prioritize in the next 12 to 18 months the AI of AI talent? 85% has said upskilling the existing employees, and 21% says hiring new talent. And of course, upskilling is going to be through training and repetition and application. So going back to the training one more time, whatever is available should be made available in the sector, should be made available to the company employees as well. So we have seen that a high awareness of AI in the companies, and that has moved beyond the pilot phase to testing and scaling. Leadership support is strong. They have clear vision and roadmap positioning of AI as a strategy. The areas that we see most applied to were automation, media optimization, advanced data analytics, and improving customer experience. The areas that content production, strategic planning currently represent the most resource-intensive usage areas. What we have seen was operational efficiencies, time savings, return on investment improvements are areas where measured business impacts were followed up. And I will continue and wrap it up that we have seen that there is limited internal knowledge, and more training has been necessary, and upskilling of the people is necessary at this point. And this is the final slide of my presentation. If there has been any questions, I haven't seen them. Now is the time to answer them.
Well, thank you very much, Hande. It was a very thorough, but very the insights were really resonates to the countries specific, the region specific. And you mentioned about the talent development. I just want to step in and mention. My video is closed. Sorry, just a second. As MMA, we have been, as you may be following up, we have recently launched our Decoding AI training. It's a great training which includes all the up-to-date information about knowing AI transformation from scratch, and it's been updated every 6 months. So whenever you see a new Decoding AI webinar or training series, you should know that there's a lot of updates to the former training that you have already received. So please stay tuned. We also have, as MMA Academy, we also have a lot of trainings, webinars to really, we invest in talent development, focus on the skill gap. So please follow us. So there are a lot of questions right now. So
I'll answer I see one question actually about the
İpek.
Yeah.
İpek Melis Sarıtaş.
And then it goes down. All right. Sorry, I missed that. So the reason why we are able to see South Africa reported separately is because the number of people who answered the questions was about 30. So 30 is our minimum base to report on. And so the team, the respondents in South Africa were higher than that. That's why we see it separately. We were able to see it. If it was possible within the MENA to be able to, divide it into Qatar, United Arab Emirates, we would be willing to do, and hopefully maybe in the next rounds of questions and surveys we will do that. But currently, within MENA, we had Saudi Arabia, we had United Arab Emirates and Qatar in our but we weren't able to separately report them.
Okay. So Bülent has asked, most brands start with AI for cost cutting. How should it's going up and up. Just sorry. How should organizations shift their strategy to focus on AI-driven growth rather than just efficiency?
I think that this is, I mean, this was a question asked to everyone. I think these
Yeah.
things will not never be either or, rather than this or that, but go hand in hand. That's will there be cost cutting? I I can see it coming and happening everywhere. So unfortunately, yes, it will be used as cost cutting, but it should not be, it cannot be the only objective. At that point. So efficiency, yes, especially in terms of, media planning, content providing. I'm focusing currently on the creative and the media areas. So those areas that's not really cost cutting. The efficiency there is in terms of course, content production is a lot of cost cutting. So, but it also brings the efficiency with itself as well. So instead of where we were seeing the beforehand, so it's actually an enabler for companies. Maybe beforehand they were only to do, for example, we always give a very simple example of UK where they had this mascot for O2 brand, telecoms brand, where they were only using it every now and then in very important advertisement. But then with AI, of course, it's so cheap to put it and insert it into all of their campaigns. I mean, it's just a very simple example, but I think you're feeling it every day in terms of the ads. I mean, from our perspective, what we are seeing now is that we used to have storyboards when we were doing the advertising testing. It was given to us as storyboard, so somebody was actually drawing those 8 or 10. Now it's AI videos, so it's almost it is an improvement. Actually, it's almost as close to the reality as it will get. But of course, the jobs of those who were actually painting those storyboards is gone. So that's kind of breaking my heart a little bit in that aspect. But nevertheless, it's an improvement.
So we've sent the link for decoding AI training. We, of course, would like you to be a MMA member. But apart from that, we also have a lot of trainings that is open for everyone. You can look up in our website. And we have another questions from Bülent again. Kantar emphasizes data quality. What are the first 3 steps a brand should take if their legacy data is messed or siloed? I mean, what are the key takeouts for a brand moving
The
forward?
data, I think, at the end of the day, even within Kantar, what we're doing, we have data from all over the world, let's say, in very different, some are also in different silos. So at the end of the day, all company and data is now currency. So even for us, for any of the companies that have joined here today, data is very important. Data quality is also very important. And one area, the silo and the correction of the data flow. So those are 2 different topics, different silos. So there are some, I don't know, companies like Microsoft really get involved in. I mean, you need to approach how should I say, a technical company for that to bring your all the data within your together, within your organization together. Currently, Kantar is we are forming a data intelligence engine. So that is going to be something like all the brand trackers, all the, let's say, innovation studies, advertising studies from all over the world will be in there. And can you imagine the AI that will be built on top of that? Even currently, they are sitting at silos. So we are working with a company to pull them all together. So in your stage, when you're saying the silo, so to be able to fix that silo, I don't know if you have the technical abilities if the company has technical capabilities, yes, but it's most probably better to outsource it to a specific, a specialized place. But then the second area is the data quality. So two things. One thing that you should do today is, if you're aware that some of the data that you have is messy, missing, or whatever, as of today, start collecting this day forward the correct data for once. At least you need to stop loss at a point. Okay, let's start collecting whatever data you're talking about. I don't know, I'm looking at it from Kantar's marketing perspective, but you have a lot of customer experience data, call center data, and everything. So are they really being collected rightfully? And of course, you can start that now. Going back to the old data that you have, I can only answer that in terms of research. If you have like brand tracker data, that you shouldn't have a messy brand tracker data. If it's messy, leave it and start all over again. But if you feel that you had stopped, or there is some discontinuity here, now there's this synthetic data capabilities available, where if you have like some missing areas, missing timings, but you have that trend, but you have a bit of missing data here and there, or certain target groups, then with advanced analytics, those areas, the synthetic data can fill up those missing areas. So that's also an option that you can talk to with your research agency on that. The silo part, I mean, I pick a lot of companies come to us for measurement of return on investment. Okay, to be able to do that, the first step is start collecting we ask them the past 2 years data, weekly, monthly. So to be one day, when you want to do that in a very good way, econometric modeling, market mix modeling, you need to start having from your, distribution. I don't know which you're working in, which area that you're working in, distribution, call center data, media, all touch points, actually your sales activations, whatever your prices, everything, start collecting them, or go back and start to try to pull them together, because AI working on that data can create miracles. If you have the correct data, it creates miracles. It will just go through your data and create. I mean, from what I hear, there are certain companies that are now looking at AI as a brand manager, so to speak. These are my data. This is my brand target, marketing target. This is my sales target. What should I do? And then it goes. So, but that's kind of like where everything is going.
Great. We will be sending the recordings through mailing, and so be aware that you can also watch this recording again and again. So we will go back to Glenn's questions, and in the meantime, Alexandra has asked, "Hi, great discussion today. Thank you, Alexandra. I do have a question. In practice, where should companies invest when embracing AI today? Building custom in-house AI agents tailored to their data and workflows, or adapting existing AI solutions and tools? How do you decide?"
It depends on your company's priorities and, for example, and where the area is. If it's let's say let's look at the areas that we asked upon. If it is media planning, there are already tools there available, so use them for targeting, for media planning, for content creation. You don't need to create it in-house. But then when it is your even for your sales and other analytics work, there might be something in-house, but majority of the time, something will be available there. I mean, from when this is like 10 or 15 years ago, when I was working by then at a media agency, and our international media agency, and we were trying to build something in-house, and nobody was aware of it, because as Turkey, we are doing something. So UK is doing something, another country is doing something. And then the global technical, chief technical officer says, nobody does anything in-house. You can never do something in-house that should reflect the shape, because you can start doing it and you're never fast enough. You don't have the capabilities to actually create that fast enough within your. So the go to market first, and then maybe if it's a small thing, try it in house. So it's always stuck with me. His words there, where you can never catch that, or you can write something now that will serve today's purpose, but
Yeah.
to be able to keep it up to date, it's very, very difficult.
It will be
In this
redundant in the future.
speed, I think almost impossible.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, well, another question is 50% of respondents in the MENA region say that they need more evidence before fully trusting AI. What specific evidence are they looking for? Financial return of investment, consumers' sentiment, or technical reliability?
Yeah, I mean, this would require a second and follow-up question for me to be
Sure.
able to answer that. From my perspective, looking at the whole report and looking at it from a MENA perspective, I see that's a bit of a, I read it or interpret it as a bit of a more hesitancy from their side. That's why they call it more evidence. I mean, the evidence is there actually. So there's actually more evidence do you need? But that's kind of like it means they haven't really immersed in the usage of it, training of it, and everything.
Okay, and only 14% of companies have AI training fully aligned with corporate strategy. What defines the gold standard group? Are they hiring external consultants or building internal AI academies?
This is also a question we haven't asked, so the answer of it would be hypothetical from my perspective. So the gold standard, I think this is a question we can ask in our next survey.
In our next survey, for sure. I mean, for AI academies, I haven't heard so, but with big companies, the big brands across the globe has been investing in designing AI academies to upskill in the quickest way. But we haven't really seen an academy fully deployed through AI yet. Maybe I'm ignorant about this, but we've been reading about this. But in the near future, yes, it will be on demand, and the education path for each employee will be designed through AI with bits and pieces through trainings all around the world. I believe so.
By the way, I want to, now I've read through Alexandra's question one more time, and when I look at the, maybe I misunderstood or answered it in a different way. Building the custom AI agents tailored to their data and workflows, that is actually something that should be done, and it's not a difficult thing. So I was more of thinking of, big AI,
full AI,
like
design
big AI shape productions. But the agents, of course, these are, this is something that, I mean, I don't know how people are interested in hearing about different companies, but in our company, for example, there every now and then a big circulation is done. Like we are present in 70 countries. Everybody is writing a different, let's say, agent, and then it's being circulated around. So this is also, you need the power of everybody's thoughts there. It's not being done centrally, because writing an agent is not such a difficult thing. So I was more thinking about software perspective there. Writing an agent is not, but my one good recommendation, one good usage of it I have seen is that good practices being shared across the company, because then it sits as, again, in maybe my table or your group, but everybody can make use of it actually.
Well, given the concern over roles becoming obsolete, how should a marketing leader redefine a successful employee in a world where AI handles the content production and data analysis? It's a very gray area. It's a gray area right now.
A successful employee, I think at this point, this is nothing to do with the, by the way, what our research is. A successful employee in this point is an employee with a growth mindset. That's number one, not a fixed mindset. It's somebody who embraces all the new AI, somebody who tries to learn, somebody who's curious, who's trying to adapt. So that's kind of now the new, I think, currency for being or staying in the business, actually.
Exactly.
Staying in the business. So yeah, the content production people and data analytics. So some people who make better use of the agents or the AI in terms of doing that will be staying in the business side.
Okay, great. In the meantime, we have posted our evaluation form. It's just to understand, what kind of content that we can also include in the coming webinars. If you can fill up the form, we will really appreciate it. Thank you. And another question from Bülent. You noted a 16% clear mistrust rate. Is this mistrust rooted in the fear of job loss? The 36% who fear roles become obsolete, or in the technical black box nature of AI outputs?
This would be a bit reading into it. In any survey actually that where we receive these numbers and then looking at, you would either need to do a analysis on how many of those people also answered those, which we haven't done now. But these are, we can see what is happening and why and how, what have they thought when they were answering it is something that we did not define mistrust for them. So whatever they took and understood is the answer that they have stated here.
Yeah. Well, if we are to do this survey, this is my question, next year, I think the table will be totally different, right?
Completely different. Completely different. I mean, numbers would change a lot. Maybe mistrust would increase more. I don't, for example, training numbers would change and increase, I am sure. Because, I mean, even 5 months is a long time now in the life of AI.
Exactly. And, for all the audience who are listening to us, this survey is also will be a part of the global survey of AI adoption, and hopefully we will share the outcomes once the global has finished their research throughout academia and with Kantar and all the research companies. They're doing a massive research around this AI transformation journeys. So I think we've covered a lot of, we've asked a lot of questions to you.
Thank you for the questions, by the way, always.
Well, thank you for your contribution. And I think this was a great webinar, very insightful, and we will be sending the report to you as well. You can download the report, look into it more. And if you have any questions, please come back to us. I think if we don't have any questions, we can close the session a little bit earlier than expected. Well, hearts are going and applause. Thank you very much, Hande.
Thank you very much
for your time.
For listening, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.
Safe.
Be safe.